January 26, 1945, Holtzwihr, France, a frozen field, 6 German tanks rolling toward 40 American soldiers, 250 German infantry behind the tanks. Audie Murphy, now a lieutenant, ordered his men to retreat. They ran, but Audie did not. He climbed onto a burning tank destroyer, alone. The tank could explode at any second. German bullets tore through the air around him. He grabbed the .50 caliber machine gun, and for 1 hour he held off an entire German company, by himself. 50 Germans died. Audie Murphy earned the Medal of Honor, but the price was something no medal could ever repay. This is episode 3, the day one man became a legend. Between Sicily in 1943 and France in 1945, Audie Murphy fought in some of the bloodiest campaigns of World War II. After Sicily came mainland Italy, the mountains, endless mud, endless cold, endless combat. The 3rd Infantry Division crawled up the Italian boot one bloody hill at a time. German forces defended every position, every village, every mountain pass. The fighting was brutal, close quarters, hand-to-hand sometimes. Men froze to death in foxholes. Men bled out waiting for medics who never came. The Italian campaign was hell. Audie fought in every major battle: Salerno, Anzio, Monte Cassino, Rome. Each battle added to his kill count. Each battle added to the weight he carried. He stopped writing detailed letters home. His letters became shorter, more distant. Just facts. Nothing about what he saw. Nothing about what he did, because how could he explain it? How could he tell his siblings that he had killed more than 100 men by now? That he no longer felt anything when he pulled the trigger? That he had become exactly what war needed him to become? His superiors noticed his skills, promoted him to staff sergeant, then to 2nd lieutenant. At 20 years old, Audie Murphy commanded a platoon. Men twice his age followed his orders without question. They trusted him because he kept them alive. Audie had an instinct for combat. He could read terrain, spot ambushes, predict enemy movements. The hunting skills from Texas translated perfectly to hunting Germans in Europe. But promotion meant responsibility. Every man who died under his command weighed on him. Every soldier's face joined the growing collection of ghosts in his mind. Brandon from Sicily, Martinez from Anzio, Johnson from Monte Cassino, Washington from Rome. The list grew longer with every battle. Audie started having nightmares, waking up in cold sweats, reaching for his rifle in the dark. His hands shook sometimes when he tried to eat. Other officers noticed but said nothing. Everyone had their breaking point. The question was not if you would break, the question was when. By January 1945, Audie Murphy had been in combat for 18 months. 18 months of killing, 18 months of watching friends die, 18 months of living in constant fear that the next bullet had his name on it. He was 20 years old but looked older, much older. His face was hard, his eyes were cold. The skinny farm boy from Texas had become something else, something efficient, something deadly, something barely human anymore. Then came France, and the coldest winter Europe had seen in 50 years. The 3rd Infantry Division entered France through the Vosges Mountains. December 1944. Winter hit hard. Snow covered everything. Temperatures dropped below zero. American soldiers were not equipped for this cold. Their uniforms were designed for moderate weather, not for the brutal European winter. Men got frostbite, lost fingers, lost toes. Some froze to death in their foxholes during the night. The Germans launched a surprise offensive, Operation Nordwind, Hitler's last major attack in the West. German forces pushed hard against American positions in eastern France. The fighting was desperate. The Germans knew they were losing the war. This was their final chance to push the Allies back. They fought with the fury of men who had nothing left to lose. Audie's company was assigned to hold a position near the small French town of Holtzwihr. The town had been destroyed by months of fighting. Empty buildings, shattered walls, frozen mud streets. The Americans dug in around the town, set up defensive positions, placed mines, positioned machine guns. They expected a German attack, Intelligence reports indicated German armor in the area, but the Americans were outnumbered, undersupplied, and freezing. January 26, 1945. Dawn broke cold and gray. Fog hung over the frozen fields. Visibility was poor. Audie's company held a position in a small wooded area overlooking an open field. 40 men, 2 machine guns, a few bazookas, 1 M10 tank destroyer for support. The M10 was a turretless tank with a 3-inch gun and a 50 caliber machine gun mounted on top. Not much firepower, but it was better than nothing. The fog began to lift around 0800 hours. That was when they saw them. German tanks. 6 Panzers rolling across the frozen field directly toward the American position. Behind the tanks came German infantry, lots of them, at least 250 soldiers, maybe more. The Germans had overwhelming force, overwhelming firepower. They could crush the American position easily. Audie assessed the situation immediately. 40 Americans against 6 tanks and 250 infantry. The math was simple. They would be overrun, slaughtered. The only option was retreat, live to fight another day. He ordered his men to fall back to secondary positions in the woods. The soldiers grabbed their weapons and equipment. They ran, disappeared into the trees. Within minutes, the position was abandoned. Only Audie remained, and 1 other soldier manning the radio in a small command post. The German tanks kept coming, and Audie Murphy made a decision that defied all logic. The M10 tank destroyer sat exposed in the field. The crew had already abandoned it. Smart. The tank was a priority target. German gunners would focus on destroying it first, but the M10 had something valuable. A 50 caliber machine gun mounted on the top, and it still worked. Audie looked at the approaching tanks, looked at the M10, calculated distances, angles, fields of fire. The decision formed in his mind. Insane, suicidal, but possible. He ran toward the M10. The other soldier at the command post yelled after him, tried to call him back. Audie ignored him. He climbed onto the M10. The tank was burning. German artillery had already hit it. Flames licked around the engine compartment. Smoke poured from the interior. The fuel tank could explode at any moment. The entire vehicle could become a fireball. Anyone on top would be incinerated instantly. But Audie needed the 50 caliber machine gun, and the 50 caliber was mounted on top of a burning tank. He grabbed the machine gun, swung it toward the approaching Germans. The infantry were advancing in the open, confident. They thought the Americans had retreated. They thought the position was abandoned. They were wrong. Audie opened fire. The 50 caliber machine gun is one of the most devastating weapons ever created. Heavy rounds, high rate of fire, effective range of over a mile. In skilled hands, it could cut down dozens of men in seconds, and Audie Murphy's hands were very skilled. He had been killing since Sicily, killing in Italy, killing for 18 months. He knew exactly what he was doing. The first burst caught a squad of German infantry in the open. 10 men fell, the others dove for cover. But there was no cover. The field was flat, frozen, open. Audie traversed the gun, fired again. More Germans fell. The German infantry tried to advance. Audie cut them down. They tried to flank. He shifted fire, killed them. They tried to retreat. He shot them in the back. No mercy, no hesitation. Just cold, mechanical killing. The German tanks tried to target the M10. Their main guns fired. Shells exploded around Audie. One hit the ground 10 feet away. The blast wave knocked him sideways. Shrapnel tore through the air. A piece hit his right leg. Blood soaked through his pants. He ignored the wound, grabbed the machine gun, kept firing. The pain did not matter. Nothing mattered except killing Germans. The tank beneath him burned hotter. Flames spread. Smoke choked him. He could barely see through the smoke and fog. His eyes watered. His lungs burned. The heat was intense. His hands blistered from touching hot metal, but he kept firing. Traverse, fire, reload, repeat, over and over. The machine gun barrel glowed red hot. The weapon could melt, could jam, could fail, but it kept working, and Audie kept killing. For 1 hour, Audie Murphy held that position. 1 hour of continuous combat. 1 hour that should have killed him 100 different ways. The soldier at the command post watched in shock, watched Audie standing on a burning tank, firing the machine gun, killing Germans, getting hit by shrapnel, bleeding, and not stopping. The soldier manned a field telephone connected to American artillery units several miles away. The artillery had the coordinates for the field. They could shell the area, but American artillery would kill Audie too. Audie needed those artillery strikes. The German infantry kept coming. Too many of them. The machine gun alone could not stop them all. He needed high explosive shells raining down on that field. He needed artillery to break the German attack. So he grabbed his own field telephone. The wire ran from the M10 back to the command post. The connection was still working, barely. Audie called the artillery, gave them coordinates, his own position. "Fire on me," he told them. The artillery officer hesitated. Those coordinates would put shells directly on the M10, directly on Audie. Friendly fire. They would kill him. Audie repeated the order. "Fire on my position. Do it now." The artillery officer had no choice. Orders were orders. Artillery shells screamed overhead, exploded in the field around the M10. Massive explosions, shrapnel flying everywhere. German infantry were torn apart, bodies launched into the air. The barrage was devastating, and Audie was in the middle of it. Shells landed 20 feet away, 30 feet, 40 feet. The blast waves hammered him. Dirt and debris rained down. His ears rang, blood ran from his nose. The concussion from the explosions felt like being punched in the chest repeatedly, but he stayed on the tank, kept firing the machine gun between artillery strikes. The Germans tried to advance during gaps in the shelling. Audie cut them down. They tried to retreat. Artillery killed them. They were caught in a kill zone, trapped between machine gun fire and artillery, dying by the dozens. The German tanks tried to push forward. One Panzer got within 50 yards. Its main gun swung toward the M10. Audie fired the .50 caliber at the tank. The bullets could not penetrate the armor, but they hit the vision ports, blinded the crew. The tank stopped, turned, retreated. The other tanks followed. They had no infantry support left. The infantry were dead or dying. The attack was broken, but Audie did not stop. He kept firing at retreating Germans, at wounded Germans trying to crawl away, at anyone still moving. He had become something beyond human, a killing machine. No thought, no emotion, just pure lethal efficiency. The machine gun finally ran out of ammunition. Audie stopped firing, looked across the field, bodies everywhere, dozens of dead Germans, maybe 50, maybe more. Blood staining the snow, smoke hanging in the cold air. Silence, except for the crackling of flames from the burning tank beneath him. Audie Murphy climbed down from the tank. His leg was bleeding badly. His hands were burned. His face was black with soot and gunpowder. He walked back to the command post. The other soldiers stared at him like he was seeing a ghost, or maybe a monster. American medics arrived. They treated Audie's wounds, shrapnel removed from his leg, bandages wrapped around his hands, morphine for the pain. But Audie barely felt it. He sat on the ground, stared at nothing. The adrenaline was wearing off. Reality was setting in. He had just killed 50 men, stood on a burning tank for an hour, called artillery on his own position, survived wounds that should have killed him, and felt nothing. Officers arrived. They surveyed the battlefield, counted the German bodies, examined the burned-out M10, interviewed the soldier who witnessed everything. The reports went up the chain of command. Lieutenant Audie Murphy single-handedly stopped a German company attack, killed approximately 50 enemy soldiers, held the position alone for 1 hour under impossible conditions, prevented a breakthrough that could have collapsed the entire American line. The Medal of Honor was recommended immediately, the highest military decoration in the United States, given only for acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty. Audie Murphy qualified, no question. What he did was impossible, suicidal, insane, and absolutely heroic. The paperwork began its journey through military bureaucracy, but Audie did not care about medals. He cared that his men survived. They had retreated into the woods. All 40 of them lived. 0 American casualties. 50 dead Germans, 1 wounded lieutenant. Tactically, it was a perfect defensive action, but tactically perfect meant nothing to Audie. He had killed 50 more men, added 50 more faces to his nightmares, 50 more ghosts to carry. The other soldiers in his company looked at him differently now. They had heard stories before, heard about Sicily, about Italy, about all the other times Audie did impossible things, but this was different. This was beyond comprehension. Standing on a burning tank, alone, calling artillery on himself, fighting for an hour against overwhelming odds, and surviving. Men started whispering, "Murphy is invincible. Murphy cannot be killed. Murphy is not human." But Audie felt very human. He felt pain. He felt exhaustion. He felt the weight of every kill, every death, every ghost. The legend was growing. Audie Murphy, the war hero. Audie Murphy, the one-man army. Audie Murphy, the greatest soldier in American history. But the legend was just a story. The reality was a 20-year-old kid from Texas who had seen too much death, caused too much death, and could not stop. The war continued. Audie Murphy continued fighting, because that was all he knew how to do now. The European War ended in May 1945. Germany surrendered. The 3rd Infantry Division stopped fighting. For the first time in 2 years, Audie Murphy was not in combat. The silence felt wrong. The peace felt alien. He had been at war for so long that he did not know how to exist without it. The Medal of Honor ceremony was scheduled for June. General Alexander Patch would present the medal. Press would attend. Photographers, reporters. The Army wanted to celebrate its heroes, wanted to show America what its soldiers had accomplished. Audie Murphy was the perfect hero. Young, handsome, brave. The farm boy from Texas who became the most decorated soldier in American history. 33 medals, including the Medal of Honor. The story practically wrote itself. Audie stood at attention while the general pinned the medal to his chest. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled notes. Other officers saluted. The speech praised his valor, his courage, his dedication. The words washed over him, meaningless. The medal was just metal, a piece of bronze shaped like a star. It did not bring back Brandon, did not bring back Martinez or Johnson or Washington, did not erase the faces of the 240 Germans he had killed, did not stop the nightmares. After the ceremony, reporters wanted interviews, wanted to know how it felt to be a hero, wanted details about the burning tank, about the hour of combat, about killing 50 Germans. Audie gave short answers, factual, emotionless. He did what needed to be done. He followed orders. He kept his men alive. That was all. The reporters wanted more, wanted emotion, wanted drama. Audie gave them nothing. He was exhausted, hollow. The legend wanted a hero. Audie Murphy just wanted to go home. But home was complicated. His siblings were scattered across Texas. Some married, some moved away. The old farm was long gone. His mother was dead. His father had vanished. There was no home to return to, just a place, a memory, a life that no longer existed. And Audie was not the same person who left. The boy who hunted rabbits was gone, replaced by something harder, something broken, something that did not fit in a world at peace. The Army offered him a job. Stay in. Make the military a career. He had the rank, the reputation, the medals. He could teach tactics, train new soldiers, live comfortably for the rest of his life. But Audie declined. He had fought for 3 years, killed for 3 years, watched friends die for 3 years. He was done. He wanted out, wanted to try to be normal again, even though he knew normal was impossible now. Audie Murphy boarded a ship back to the United States, September 1945. The war was over. He was alive. Against all odds, against all logic, he survived. But survival came with a price. The nightmares followed him. The faces haunted him. At night, he reached for his rifle. During the day, sudden noises made him dive for cover, Crowds made him nervous. Loud sounds made him panic. The war was over. But for Audie Murphy, the war would never end. Hollywood would come calling. Fame would find him. Money would follow. He would become a movie star, write a best-selling book, marry, have children, live the American dream. But the ghost never left. The burning tank, the 50 dead Germans, Brandon's exploding head, all of it stayed, locked in his mind, playing on repeat, forever. Next episode, the Medal of Honor winner returns to America, fame, Hollywood, marriage, success. But behind closed doors, Audie Murphy sleeps with a loaded gun under his pillow, and the nightmares are getting worse.